Well, here we go again on my never-ending quest to spread wokeness throughout the land and to get rid of all MAGA heads. So here's my play-in music. You are listening to KPCA LP, Petaluma, California, at 103.3 FM and worldwide at www.kpca.fm. And this is the Midnight Skeptic. The views of the Midnight Skeptic are not, repeat, not necessarily the views of KPCA or any of its affiliates. Okay, this is the Midnight Skeptic, show number 98. Boy, I'm getting close to that show number 100. This will be broadcast on radio and worldwide on Spotify and Anchor.fm on the 11th, this coming Sunday at 9 a.m., the usual time. And today is Thursday, the 8th. And this show has a lot of miscellaneous stuff associated with it, and as much good news as I can dredge out. And there is some good news. And I'll say again, although my intro said it already, the views, opinions, feelings, thoughts, insights, and truthhoods of Mr. Woke, me, a.k.a. The Midnight Skeptic, are not necessarily the views of Petaluma Community Access or KPCA-LP 103.3 FM. But they damn well should be their views, and I think they are. If there's any Republicans, GOPers, followers of the orange sociopathic bloat bag, or regular listeners or watchers of Fox News, or general MAGA heads, I hope I can change your mindsets, but I know I won't. So I'll just have to settle for insulting you and shoving truth into your collective faces. My quest is to eventually make this nation a Republican-free, kinder, more accepting country. And yes, I, the Midnight Skeptic, am woke. Okay, real quick here. Shout-outs. Anchor.fm, they gather up all sorts of podcasts and broadcasts such as this one and disseminate it all over the world. And they let me know now and then who's actually listening. I don't know them by name, but, they list it by country. And the EU, I have about a dozen followers. Australia, a couple. New Zealand, a couple. One still in Russia, and 2 in Canada. All right. First, yesterday, the 6th of December, I wrote this yesterday, so actually it's 2 days ago now, was the release date for Project Censored's State of the Free Press 2023, which was co-edited by Mickey Huff and Andy Lee Roth. Go to projectcensored.org and get your signed copy. It's going to be signed by Mickey Huff. Maybe Andy will sign it too. I think Andy can write his name anyway. Okay, signed by Mickey and Andy. It's the news, that didn't make the news. All right. And Mickey Huff lives up in Sacramento. I'm not sure the exact town, but he commutes down to Diablo Valley College, where he's a professor of communication and history. Okay. Locally, Nariman, Tom Gaffey of the Phoenix Theater, John Crowley of Aquas Cafe, kind of a community gathering point for all sorts of things. Tom and Nancy, Kevin and Lori, Rich and Kathy, Keith and Cody. Tiburon, Dennis and Megan, San Francisco, Yvonne Santos, and then down in Pacifica, Stan and Kathy, and Lefty Susan Miller. Still got to meet you one of these days and compare Lefty notes. Okay, down in L.A., Jackie and Wayne and their two daughters, Samantha and Melanie. Arizona, my brother Brandon and his wife Mina, their daughter Andrea, who's a nurse. COVID is coming back. Take care of yourself. Wear your PPE, Andrea. And Tim, her husband, and their three little tourists. Damn it, I did it again. Not tourists, terrorists, as they call them. Ah, boy. One of these days I'll get that right. And Karina Hilliard down in Patagonia, Arizona, the snake removal lady. Arkansas, Shannon Reed. Florida, Amelia Beamer. Nelson and Alice Lydell. North Carolina, Dr. Dave Rubin, my favorite lung doctor of all time. Over to Long Island, Geraldine Goldfinger. And my old hometown, Sonora, Robert and Colleen Finnegan, Bob and Sandy Fisher, Brad and Martha Fisher. Martha's a nurse there. And I made an egregious mistake, believe it or not, on last show. Brad is the curator of the Tuolumne County Historical Society right there in downtown Sonora. I mistakenly said Sonoma County Museum. Geez, I've got Sonoma on my mind. You know, that's where I live, so naturally it's on my mind. But anyway, if you're ever up in Sonora, stop by the two-story brick building right there on Washington Street. Go in and check out the history of Tuolumne County, and specifically Sonora. Okay. Where am I? All right. There's a correction. Okay. Dara Larson, Judy May, Leonidas Maciel, Kathy Francis, Lynn Quayle, John Gleason, and his two daughters, Tiffany and Jennifer. And then all the way down to Mexico City, Rosie Lopez Negrete. Okay, I promised my listeners, the ones that mentioned this, that I would start every program with good news. Well, here it is. There's been pushback in India against the Ayurvedic health practices. That's it's bogus health practices. And anybody who says, well, Ayurvedic medicine is wisdom of the ancients, BS. It's not been scientifically proven to have any effect at all. Okay, and these are quotes from Indian medical people. Quote, "It doesn't matter what form of therapy you suggest is working. It has to be grounded in evidence." Oh, evidence. Okay. And who said that? That was Anat Bahn, capital Bahn. He's an Indian researcher in bioethics and health policy. The government steps to integrate Ayurvedic medicine with the contemporary modern system of medicine is fraught with danger. And who said that? Dr. Sudhir Naik, capital Naik. He's an obstetrician and past president of the Indian Medical Consultants. And about 3 months ago or so at a coffee social, I met a guy who was studying Ayurvedic medicine. I didn't say anything. I held my tongue, and I didn't even ask him any, leading questions or anything. But my mind was racing, and all sorts of red flags were being raised. More red flags than a Chinese military parade. Okay, new topic. A typical MAGA head. A Texas man was arrested Friday, the 2nd of December, on a federal charge of threatening to kill a Boston doctor who provides care to gender non-conforming children. Matthew Jordan Lindner, capital Lindner. He's 38. He's of Comfort, Texas. He was charged with 1 count of transmitting interstate threats, according to the U.S. Attorney General's office in Massachusetts. He's being held without bail. Good. If convicted, he could be facing 5 years in prison and $250,000 fine. MAGA head. False information spread online in August of this year that doctors at Boston Children's Hospital were providing hysterectomies and gender affirmation surgery to kids under 18. False. Of course it's false, but you would never convince MAGA heads of that. MAGA head GOP Republicans. Okay, sip, 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 sip. My voice is drying out here. Okay. Congratulations are in order to Senator Raphael Warnock. It's good news that he was reelected with almost 52% of the vote, and the MAGA head candidate, endorsed by the orange sociopathic bloat bag, got about 48%. It's good news, but it's also disturbing that 48% of the people in Georgia, the registered voters in Georgia, voted for Herschel Walker. And I'm very curious to know, although I have my suspicions, why some people would rather vote for Herschel Walker than a Democrat of any kind. It's just, I want someday to discuss with some MAGA heads why they dislike Democrats so much. What is it? Is it just Fox News? Jesus. All right. Okay, I'm off my notes again. This is bad news. Senator Ted Cruz, which is bad news right there, the MAGA head senator from Texas, his daughter, Caroline, apparently attempted suicide by cutting herself deeply at the Cruz home in Houston. She had posted on her TikTok account that she was bisexual and didn't agree with her father's positions on the LGBTQ community. She's only 14 and trying, like most teens, to find herself, to find her identity. And it's terrible. I hope that she was able to connect with the Trevor Project, which I'm familiar with. They have a number of counselors that you can chat with. They are concentrating on the young LGBTQ kids who are thinking of harming themselves or committing suicide. I hope that she connects with somebody that she can talk to. And my personal opinion is that her dad would be the last person she could talk to, but I wish her well, and I wish her a healthy teenage years. Caroline, take care of yourself. Okay. I wish her a speedy recovery. Okay, new topic. Catholic stupidity from medieval times. Oh, boy. Is the Pope infallible? Has he always been infallible? If Catholics believe this, has it always been true? All right, here it is. Pope Gregory the Ninth hated cats. He produced a 13th century anti-cat edict. He accused cats with being in league with Satan. He said that was the word of God. This ushered in an era of cat killing, burning, and torturing. There were whole medieval festivals centered around the torturing of cats. I just found this out, and I was horrified. Cats are nature's gift to human beings to reduce their stress and to have companionship. Oh, boy. All right. Pope Gregory the Ninth. Was he correct? Are popes infallible? Of course not. Even the Pope, the current Pope, he's as nice a guy as he seems to be. I've never met him. It just undermines the whole edifice of the Catholic faith, and it should be undermined. Okay. New topic. I sign off my show all the time, every show, with, think logically, think scientifically, think rationally, and most importantly, pet your cats. Yeah, I stand by that. Okay. Whew. Okay, bad news, but it's not surprising news. On December 1st, Oklahoma Attorney General John O'Connor issued a new legal opinion that clears the way for public funding of charter schools operated by religious entities. The Center for Inquiry's Vice President and General Legal Counsel, Nicholas Little, said, quote, "Public education should be for the public's benefit, not religious denominations. Forcing taxpayers to fund religious schools is a violation of the First Amendment of the Constitution." Well, of course it is. But MAGA heads don't care about the Constitution unless they can bend it to their will. Quote, "Free exercise clause is elevated above the government establishment clause. The government should not establish a religion. Well, of course, Christian nationalists don't want that. They want the government to establish Southern Baptists as the official religion of the United States. Okay. Oh, where am I? Am I speaking literally or figuratively? Okay. Typical MAGA head news. Florida State Representative Joseph Harding, a Republican, of course, who introduced the Don't Say Gay bill, has been criminally indicted by the Justice Department for wire fraud, money laundering, and making false statements. Did he work for the Trump Organization? Huh. Okay, between December 1st, 2020 and March 1st, 2021, Harding defrauded the Small Business Administration and fraudulently obtained coronavirus-related small business loans. Are most Republicans criminals of one sort or another? Probably so. Okay. Bad news. Oh, God. MAGA head Kevin McCarthy, who wants so bad to be Speaker of the House, is threatening to stall the defense spending bill after January, when the MAGA heads take control of the House of Representatives. The reason? Why would they do that? He and the anti-vaxxer GOP MAGA heads want the Pentagon's coronavirus vaccine mandate lifted. Seriously? We're still arguing about the effectiveness of coronavirus vaccines? There are a lot of vaccines automatically given to new recruits in all military branches. When I joined the Navy, one of the things we did, we lined up and just got a whole armload of vaccines that you didn't have a choice. And they protected you from various viruses and diseases and things. Seriously, McCarthy? Gosh. There are a lot of vaccines automatically given to all recruits. I got an armful of vaccines when I went into the Navy. McDoofus said that the coronavirus mandate is, quote, federal overreach and eroded military readiness, both of which are patently false. Eliminating the mandate is one of the MAGA heads, quote unquote, top priorities. Again, seriously? There's no other priority? I've made fun of MAGA heads a lot of times. In fact, I always do. A typical MAGA head would say, well, if it's a requirement, I guess I'll do it. But I don't want any of those mandates. It's okay. Good news that I just found out today. Okay. Congratulations on Brittany Griner's release by Russia. We're sending over an arms dealer that has been in our prison system for a long time. And he's Russian. He's being sent back to Russia in return for Brittany Griner. And I also hope the other guy, I think he's an ex-Marine that was imprisoned in Russia. I hope so. I don't know that. Okay. Checking on some Facebook posts about the Brittany Griner release. Some MAGA heads are whining that she broke the law, their law about cannabis oil. Oh, God. MAGA heads are basically racists, and I'll elaborate on that a little bit later in this show. But it was just sickening what some of the MAGA heads were saying about her release. Okay. On my Facebook announcement of what I'm going to be talking about on this show, I included, let's bring back Free to Be You and Me, and I liked it. Okay, it was in 1972 that Marlo Thomas, she's a singer and actress and TV personality, in conjunction with the Ms. Foundation for Women, the MS Foundation, she cut an album with a number of songs on it. The main one was Free to Be You and Me. And what this was a post-1960s gender neutrality effort to make boys and girls comfortable in their identities. And they championed individual, I can't read my writing here, individual acceptance, and the idea that a girl or a boy can grow up to be anything that they want to be. Can you imagine a Republican having those sentiments? Oh, I can't. MAGA heads. Anyway, it started off as an album, and then it morphed into an ABC television special in 1974, and then a children's book. And anyway, that was sort of an enlightened era. I mean, most of us are still enlightened in that way. You know, girls don't have to always wear pink. Boys don't always have to wear blue. Boys, if they want to, can play with dolls, can let their hair grow, can wear any clothes they want to. Girls can climb trees and play with trucks, and especially go out for sports. Now, 1972, there was another landmark, Title IX, implemented, to where funding for college sports depended on the equality of sports opportunities between boys and girls. And it succeeded very well in promoting girls' sports. I offer up the Stanford women's basketball team and their volleyball team, their girls' teams, wildly successful. I enjoy watching the Stanford women's basketball team. My throat's drying out again. But 1972 was the institution of Free to Be You and Me and Title IX. Success, success, success. Okay. Real good news. Juul Labs, Juul, has reached a settlement covering more than 5,000 lawsuits brought by more than 10,000 plaintiffs concerning their vaping products. I've ranted about big tobacco and big vape many times on my show. Buffeted by lawsuits, Juul announced hundreds of layoffs. Yay! Last month, November. And bankruptcy appears increasingly likely, despite their whining claims that e-cigarettes help adults get off of cigarettes. They have and do target high school and younger kids. May they rot in their personal hells, especially the founders of Juul and the executives of that sickening organization. All right. Sickening Christian hate news. Lori Smith, Lorie Smith, owner of wedding web designer 303 Creative out of Denver, Colorado, is having her case heard in the Supreme Court of the United States, as we speak. She hates same-sex couples, although she will never use that word. I love everybody, she says on one of her Facebook postings. She hates same-sex couples and will not serve them. And here's the ironic thing. No same-sex couple have asked her to make a web page for their wedding. She's preemptively taking this course, this case, not course, case, to the Supreme Court. I don't know which pathway this case took, but I guess her attorney, who must be a hate-filled Christian, him or herself, it's wound its way up to the Supreme Court. But nobody has been hurt. No same-sex couple has asked her to make a web page for the wedding. She just wants to go against Colorado's non-discrimination law because she wants to practice her faith unimpeded. And that's the thing about Christians. They always say, we love everybody, just like Jesus loves everybody. But in fact, they hate people that are not like them in faith and religious matters. Have I said yet that all religions are misogynistic? The world would be better off without religion of any kind? But that's my beliefs. Okay, that's my faith. Okay. Good news. Transition to renewable energy is proceeding faster than has been forecasted. Renewable energy will overtake coal worldwide by 2025. The IEA, which is the International Energy Agency, has said that the expansion of renewable energy, which is, they list them all, wind turbines, solar panels, nuclear power plants, hydrogen fuel, and electric heat pumps, and electric vehicles. That's what are renewable energies. Okay. China alone is forecast to install almost half of the new global renewable power capacity over the next 5 years. That is extremely good news. Now, in Europe, in wintertime, which is now, they're having heating problems because most of their heating oil is a result of liquefied natural gas, LNG, imported from Russia. And they're trying to get off that entirely. And electric-powered heat pumps are the new thing in European homes. And so I'm not exactly sure how heat pumps work, but they're kind of a reverse air conditioning unit. And especially in Ukraine, people are suffering this wintertime. And Russia and Vladimir Putin, the poster boy for MAGA heads, is weaponizing winter weather against the Ukrainians. I keep reading articles in the newspaper that Putin may be guilty of war crimes. Oh, come on. The whole invasion and destruction of Ukraine is a war crime. And as far as I'm concerned, the war crime investigators don't need to gather any more evidence. If Ukraine somehow proves victorious in some way, shape, or form, and we can get our hands on Vladimir Putin and his lapdog, the orange sociopathic bloat bag, they should be put on trial right away for war crimes. This is good news, I guess. German authorities have arrested more than 25 people who were plotting the overthrow of the German government. They have their own January 6th problem. Okay. The far-right group, the Reichsbürger movement, of course, they're racist and anti-Semitic and believe that a German version of the quote-unquote deep state actually rules Germany. And COVID-19 and vaccines are part of sinister plots to control the population. Well, that's what our Republican Party believes. Elements of QAnon conspiracy theory are present in their ideology as well. The effects of the orange sociopathic bloat bag are spreading worldwide. I thought the Germans were smarter than that. Well, they are, because there's not all that many of them. But there's enough that the German government recognized the danger that they posed. Oh, well, none of the arrestees were wearing MAGA hats. Well, I guess you find your good news wherever you can. Okay, bad news. A measles outbreak in Ohio that has impacted about 60 children, 23 of whom are hospitalized. You guessed it, most were unvaccinated, and 3 of the kids had received only 1 of the 2 recommended MMR vaccine doses. MAGA head parents. I'm going to talk a little bit about MAGA heads in general in a minute, but MAGA head parents, you can have your ideology, as stupid as it may be, but please take care of your kids, get them vaccinated, encourage them to read, even if it's books that may go against some of your stupid-ass beliefs. Teachers are not grooming your kids, despite what the bloatbag junior down in Florida says. Just be better parents. All right. Okay. I've been criticized, or at least it's been suggested that I call people who disagree with me MAGA heads in a derogatory manner. Believe me, it's meant to be derogatory. And it's more than just whether people agree with me or not. Disagreement is not really the issue. I can have honest political discussions with intelligent, thoughtful, well-read Republicans. Things like what should be the role of the federal government in our lives, in business, in the defense of our country, and how much should we be taxed, whether the graduated income tax is fair or not, who should be taxed, and things like that. Classical Republicans from, back in the 50s and 60s, those are things that can be discussed. The Republicans nowadays, most of them, are just idiots. And I can't really have a discussion with them. Okay, all of this is to introduce a topic of what are MAGA heads. Okay. I was riffing a little bit. This is my actual notes now. It's more than just disagreement, Here's my take on MAGA heads, And these statistics that I'm going to be quoting you are, pulled out of my own ass. But I think since I've been reading a lot about this topic and paying attention to political rantings and ravings of other people online, that it's not that far off. Okay, the first statistic is registered voters in this country. Okay, roughly about 45% of registered voters are Democratic, and 26% are GOP or Republicans. Okay, 45-26. So that's 71%. Well, what are all the rest? They're registered independents. There's a sprinkling of Green Party, and there's a sprinkling of Libertarian Party. And I guess there's a budding Democratic Socialist Party at various places around the country.